Hi everyone, Kenny Chan here, Century 21 Procenco Group. Today we're going to go through the Durham market update for January 2022 to the month that just passed of May. And we're going to be talking about the different property types: detached, semi, townhouse, condo apartment, and the condo townhouse. So let's get started. Here's my email, my phone number. If you want to check out my other videos on YouTube, just Google Kenny Chan Real Estate. Okay, so let's get started. So if you don't already know what this chart looks like, I will show you. The left side here are the months: January, February, March, April, May. The type of property, the number of sales in that month, the average price in that month, followed by the number of new listings. Now, if you take the number of sales divided by the number of new listings, you get something called a sales to new listings ratio, and that's a percentage. When that percentage is over 60%, we consider that a seller's market. Below 40%, we consider a buyer's market. And then 40 to 60% is generally a neutral or balanced market. And then the last column is the percent change in price month over month. So let's look at January, for example. January, the average price of a detached home in Durham was 1.32, and that was a 12.2 increase over the previous month in December. So then from January to February, it increased a little bit, which is 4.3% to 1.38. Then it dropped to 1.254, and then dropped again to 1.192, and now it's dropped again to just under $1.1 million for detached property, which is an 8.2% drop from the month before. Other things to note, obviously, is you can look at the number of sales here, right? The sales, obviously, to start the year in January are typically low, and then usually we get into the spring market in around March, April, May. But as I'll explain later, there's been a drop in the number of sales while there's been a pretty consistent number of new listings, and that's really as a result of buyer demand softening due to the Bank of Canada interest rate increases. So now let's go to semi-detached properties. Similar situation. We got the average price of about $1 million in January. It increased 7% to 1.074, dropped 9%, dropped 10%, and then dropped another 6.7% for May of an average price of $812,000 for a semi-detached property in Durham region. So townhouse was an average price in January of just over $1 million. Then it went up a little bit and then down 6.6%, down 7.9%, and now down 2.3% to $907,885. So these are freehold townhomes. And now we're going to go into condo apartments. So condo apartments in Durham, average price in January was $604, increased to its $658,000, which was an 8% increase, then increased 6% to just under $700. That was basically the peak in March. Then it dropped in April and it dropped in May. Now this is one of the few few home types where the price in May was actually higher than the price it was at the beginning of the year, which was January, right? If you compare this to the townhouse, it's lower in May than at the beginning of the year. Semi is also lower than it was at the beginning of the year. And detached, of course, you can tell is lower than it was at the beginning of the year. So, and I've noticed this in some other areas, not just Durham, that the price of the condo apartment has held quite well simply because it's one of the more affordable home properties. Okay, now let's go into condo townhouse. So the average price in January was $808,000, and then it went up 3.2% to $845,000, and then down to $803,000, down to $773,000, and then down again to $703,946 for the May month that just passed, which was a 7.7% decrease. So if you've watched my other videos, this part will be the same. January 1st, the Bank of Canada has increased the policy interest rate, and so the prime rate now sits at 3.7%. And I bring up prime rate simply because consumer lending is often based on this. So it's usually prime rate minus a percentage that gives you a variable rate percentage, or prime rate plus something gives you a fixed rate. So Bank of Canada, most importantly, has stated that inflation is not under control. Therefore, you should expect more rate hikes throughout 2022. The day afterwards, the Ontario PC Party won the provincial election. They had a few platforms for housing, one of which was they had no plans to ban blind bidding. They also promised to build more homes and make it easier to build homes. They increased the non-resident speculation tax. This was also called the foreign buyers tax. So they increased it from 15% to 20%, but also more importantly, they expanded it throughout the entire province, not just the greater Golden Horseshoe region. And they've also demonstrated an openness to potentially having a vacant home tax. Now, in terms of immigration, which will help drive some demand for real estate, is that the Canadian has a goal of landing at least 400,000 new permanent residents. In Q1 of 2022, they've already landed at least 100,000, and it seems likely that we're going to get over 400,000 new permanent residents in Canada. Lastly, for the investors out there, I expect rent prices to continue to increase throughout 2022 and into 2023, simply because, as you can see with the softening of the number of sales, seems like a lot of buyers are waiting on the sidelines. So they're probably going to stay where they are in their rental, maybe continue to stay at home, or they'll just take a 1-year rental somewhere else just to see and wait and see how long or how high the Bank of Canada plans on increasing interest rates. If you have any questions, there's my email. That's my phone number. You want to check out more YouTube videos, just check out Kenny Chan Real Estate, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye now.